Hello, my name is Randy Gagnon, also known as Gogs Gagnon. Now, some of you may know by now that I accidentally deleted my previous YouTube channel, which was Prostate Cancer Strikes, and I lost all my videos. So on this video, I'm just going to give a summary of the upcoming videos that I'm going to try and reproduce, and also give you the opportunity to provide some feedback as far as what kind of videos you would like to see in the future. So here we go. I'm just going to read a list of the ones that I'm going to reproduce. The first one is going to be prostate cancer symptoms or lack thereof. In my case, I didn't have any symptoms at all. I was healthy, fit. I was in the gym three to 4 days a week. I was doing martial arts. I was riding my bike every day. Healthy, no symptoms, and there we have it. So how was it that I was diagnosed if I had no symptoms? Okay, well, we'll talk about that. So that's the video one. The next video two will be the PSA blood test controversy. Now, the reason why I say controversy is because the PSA blood test does not detect prostate cancer. Full stop. It does not detect cancer. But what it does do is it measures the level of PSA in your bloodstream. Now, if it doesn't detect cancer, then what's the point of the test? Well, for me, my PSA was tested 14 times over a 5-year period, and every single result was higher and higher and higher and higher. So it's definitely an indicator that is a bit of a red flag, so that you could proceed with other types of tests if necessary. However, if your PSA remains stable, then anyway, we'll talk about that on that video. And another video is going to be the prostate and the elusive digital rectal exam. Now, the reason why I say elusive is I didn't realize at the time of, I received many digital rectal exams by many different doctors, and none of them found any cancer or felt any rough areas of the prostate. Now, I didn't realize at the time that the finger test, it's not able to feel the entire area of the prostate. It can only do a portion of the prostate, and that area where they can examine physically is usually where cancer develops. But in my case, it was developing on the side where they couldn't feel it. So they all said, oh, it feels nice and smooth. Anyway, still an important test, but just to be aware of that. So that's another video. Another video is going to be the prostate biopsy that missed my significant, massive tumor. Now, I didn't realize it at the time. Again, when I've had a couple of prostate biopsies. The first one was just a random sampling, or they call it a blind biopsy, and that's where the doctor will take samples, tissue samples from your prostate from areas where cancer is most likely to be found. But just because they don't find any in those samples doesn't mean you don't have any. And now I didn't realize at the time, and later on I had an MRI which identified the significant anomaly, and now my next prostate biopsy was targeted towards that anomaly, which I could have avoided that first prostate biopsy had I known better. The next one is prostate cancer and how not to make a decision, and I'll go over how I made my decision and all the mistakes that I made on making that decision. Like when I was first diagnosed, I froze up, I shut down, and the only thing I think of was to get rid of it, without even understanding the how far the cancer evaded, and not even understanding all the different treatment options, not understanding that there's more tests to go through, not understanding that there's also something called active surveillance where you may just want to monitor it. All the things that how not to make your decision. Another video would be prostate cancer surgery. I ended up taking surgery, and they're rarely talked about side effects. Now, I knew about some of the big ones like urinary incontinence, erectile dysfunction, but there's a few other ones that I didn't realize that really talked about penis length and sexual sensitivity, etc. So we'll talk about that. And another one is going to be the top 10 mistakes that I made in hope others will avoid. Now, I made lots of mistakes, but I narrowed it down to my top 10. And then another video I like to do, and this one totally hit me out of the blue. My dad's unexpected prostate cancer diagnosis. Now, this was totally off the radar. I was diagnosed first, and it was 2 years later that my dad was diagnosed. And that's really odd because it's usually the father first and then the son. And my dad wasn't even monitoring his PSA. He wasn't even on the radar. He was 86 at the time. So how is it that he was even diagnosed? And so we'll talk about that. And there's probably a bunch of others, but I want to give you the opportunity to kind of see what you think and provide me some direction. Okay, I've talked enough, so those are my videos that will be coming up. Okay, thanks again for watching, and also please subscribe. Spread the word to help rebuild all the subscribers that I accidentally deleted. I felt bad because they're probably wondering what happened to my channel. Okay, have an awesome day, and thank you so much for watching. Okay, bye for now.